The media.
Hey, everybody's the media. We just want to know.
Don't give him a bad time.
What's that?
I said we gotta be here for
Well, that's why I want to have a nice conversation with the gentleman.
Talk to him about what he does.
I just want to talk to him about this. I want to know about defending that.
No, we already know.
What, I guess, are you allowed to talk like, just about how you feel about things?
I am allowed to talk about how I feel about things, sure, but
on the record.
Don't you think the feds are getting a bit heavy-handed?
you have to be a little more specific than that, because I'm the feds. I'm a federal officer.
I know, that's what concerns me. I mean, well, okay, here's an example. We pulled in with my family, and within 2 minutes, one of your cars was behind me, lurking around my truck, pulling up next to me, sitting there as we walk away.
They've probably seen your videos.
How's that okay to intimidate my family when I pull up when I'm not breaking any law?
I don't know. I wasn't there. Did you park next to a federal building?
No, I parked down there on the street.
Yeah.
They came down the block for me.
A lot of cars.
Yeah.
That are driving around, so it's pretty common for us to park around the building.
Right.
Why is that blocked off down there? The street parking at the end of the block. Why is that all
I have no idea. That's all city.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know why they blocked that parking off.
So how about?
I couldn't tell you.
What about federal land ownership? I mean, how about the fact that the federal government's supposed to be limited on their land ownership? How do you feel about that?
I don't work for that part of the government. I have no comment about that.
But
I can't tell you.
wouldn't you say on a personal level that as somebody who took an oath to defend the Constitution that it's all of our job to make sure that if someone's not being violated and you're an officer, isn't it your job to intervene when anyone's being violated, regardless of what department
Isn't
it's
that
from?
why you're here?
Well,
Defending your First Amendment right?
but what I'm saying is, shouldn't you defend them?
That is why I'm here. To make sure you folks have your say and can do it
Right.
peacefully.
But what about the people that are locked in prison without bail for ages on end?
I have no comment to that. I'm not in charge of that.
But this gives you authority over that, is what I'm saying. You don't feel like you have any power over it, or?
I've got the power to defend the Constitution and your First Amendment right, the Second Amendment, the Fifth, the Eighth.
But if you have the power to defend the Constitution, don't you have the power to defend all of it? I mean, can't you arrest a judge if he's violating his oath? Wouldn't that fall under the purview of your authority that we gave you?
This thing called proof.
Well,
Probable cause.
I could go into that courtroom and prove to you right now that the judge is violating due process and probable cause. Would that be enough to make you arrest the judge?
It's probably not going to happen.
I know, but I mean, think about it. If the officer's job, be they a civilian or a police officer, is to defend his rights that are affirmed in this document, why does it matter whether a mugger on the street is violating them or a judge in a robe? At some point, doesn't it become the officer's job to say, I'm going to intervene and say this is not okay, regardless?
Yeah. Once again, that'd be proof of some form of crime, which I haven't seen.
Well, how about denial of speedy trial for these guys? That's proof of a
I don't
crime.
know anything about that.
Do you know how long they've been in jail?
Nope.
They've been in jail about a year on a complete lack of probable cause, and now we're down here and they're still being held, waiting for trial and denied bail. But bail is part of the Constitution. That's a fundamental right that you swore to protect too. Why not defend it on bail alone? The denial of evidence. There's a Sixth Amendment violation. I could show you 10 ways. And I'm not talking about some crazy like sovereign citizen ways or anything like that. I'm talking about just in this document right here. I could show you 10 ways the judge is violating the Constitution, and you could find them in here. So why can't we prove to you guys that the judges are making a violation and make our case? And you're the defenders, you're the protectors, regardless of who's violating it. Shouldn't we be able to come to you and say, this is what's happening, this is the crime being committed, and then you guys take action on our behalf? Isn't that the essence of what a peace officer or a police officer does?
I have no comment.
Okay, well,
They get congressmen.
but the congressmen, yes, they should be representing us, but you're the defender, is what I'm saying. I realize you're not going to comment because, I mean, that's not yours. But think about this. I mean, just like reason this through. If your kid was being abused, right there, you would intervene, right?
I would intervene with any crime that I saw happening in my presence.
Okay, well, there's a crime happening in your presence in that building every day. So if you were to sit down and watch what's happening in the courts.
Opinions and facts.
It's not an opinion if it's in the Constitution that it's a violation.
But it's your opinion.
Okay, how about let's make a simpler narrative. How about if somebody's in that courtroom there for possession of an illegal weapon?
I'm not going to play what ifs.
It's not a what if. It happens every day.
It is a what if.
If someone's in that building for possession of a legal weapon, the Constitution you said you would defend says that the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. So that's an outright violation. It's not an opinion. It's a fact in the law that you swore to protect. What can you do about it?
I'm not going to comment.
See, I understand where you're coming from because you get a paycheck for doing what you're told. But think about this when you go to bed tonight. Hey, we're having a nice conversation. I could be way more grumpy than this. But this is something you, as not only as a member of this society, but as an officer, at some point it's like this. You're going to have to choose. You're going to have to choose at some point whether you're a redcoat or whether you're on the side of the Constitution. And a lot of people have already made that choice, and I hope that you haven't. But you're going to have to decide, are you going to stand with the big, powerful judge in the robe and its political friends who say, do this, kill that person, put that person in jail, hold that person in chains, or are you going to say, no, this Constitution, the people's rights, the moral, God-given rights that every person has, those are what I have to defend. That's more important than anything. It's more important than a paycheck. It's more important than a nice uniform or a badge or a bulletproof vest. At some point, you have to choose which part of that. Are you going to be in the Gestapo or are you going to be in the resistance? Which I know you don't have an answer for that either, but I'm just saying, just think about it, all right?
He probably does on a personal level, but not on a professional level.
Well, but there's no difference. There's only personal, and there's only right and wrong. So there's never just doing our job. It's always, did I do right or did I do wrong?
I have a family member who works for FEMA, and what he will say publicly and what he will say privately are two very
What's your name, young man?
Right, but the problem with that
can
is
talk.
I'm a
Sai.
professional
Sai?
redcoat, but personally,
Nice to meet you,
Do you
Sai.
bring that weapon inside the building?
Do I bring that weapon inside the building?
But I'm really
I
happy
take it
that
everywhere I go when I'm working.
Because I saw a sign on the front of the building saying no weapons allowed.
You did?
I think they make an exception. They're allowed to carry weapons, just not us. Hey,
If you're allowed to carry weapons,
In there,
we
in there.
should be allowed to carry them in there.
that's a fair point. Okay, let's let him go. He had a conversation with us. He was polite.
50 caliber you got.
Thanks for the chat, man.
And what kind of weapon is that?
It's a taser.
It shocks you. It's what they used on Ammon. The BLM guys used on Ammon.
He did.
What's that?
Yeah, be
The BLM
specific,
guys
yeah.
did. Yep. All right, take care, man.
BLM, you guys think not black lives.
Okay, guys. Questions, Si. Good questions. That's right. He is a smart child. Listen, guys.
Professionally, I'm a redcoat, but personally, I'm an American.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the thing, guys. These feds are coming down here and they're palling around. They're acting like they're our friends. They're nice. The friend of liberty defends liberty. And I hope we planted some seeds in this guy. But let's not pretend, we got to work with him. We got to be buddies. This man has to decide, right? He has to decide. You want to say anything? He has to decide, is he with liberty? Is he with the Constitution? This is what you need to do. You need to stop going down and being friends with the enemy by telling them that you're okay with them, by telling them that everything is good. Go to the people that are violating our rights and admonish them, challenge them, ask them the hard questions, get toe-to-toe and look them in the eye and say, this isn't okay. You have to stop pretending that petitioning politicians or congressmen will fix the soldiers on the street who are just following orders at their behest for money to violate our rights. Start calling out the people who violate our rights and stop worrying about whether the loyalists are going to be offended because you don't pretend that someone who violates every element of our Constitution is a loyalist. I could have proven, and I did prove, the violations. What this man's really saying is, I'm going to enforce the law on you, but not on the people who want to hurt you. Are you a patriot or are you a blue coat? Something to think about, guys.